You're muted up.
Okay, you guys, good to go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your edition of Castle to Coast and Parks PE. We want to welcome you to one of your 280 California state parks. And here we are at Hearst Castle, one of those 280 California state parks. My name is Laura, and I'm a tour guide here at Hearst Castle. Now we want to put out a special welcome to our virtual junior rangers today, because they've been watching us on Tuesdays through Thursdays. As I said, my name is Laura, and I'm a tour guide here at Hearst Castle. We'll be spending about 20 minutes working out up here at the castle, and Mr. William Randolph Hearst, childhood dream come true. And then we'll take the next 20 minutes from 10:20 to 10:40 to work with park interpretive specialist Mariana Perez down at Morro Bay State Park. Now, before we get started here today, we need to talk a little bit about the pandemic. As you can see, I've got a mask on. Now, according to California state guidelines, when we're outside exercising, we are actually exempt from having to wear a face mask, so long as we maintain a social distance of 6 or more feet. Now, because your safety is our #1 priority, we want to ensure that you maintain that 6 foot or more social distance if you decide to take off that mask, which, by the way, I'm now going to go ahead and do. So now you can see my face. Now, once we're done with our exercises today, you'll want to go ahead, wash your hands, and put that face mask back on when you are finished. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk a little bit about this beautiful place here in San Simeon called Hearst Castle. What you're looking at here in the background is the first structure that was built in 1921, 99 years ago. Mr. William Randolph Hearst was an immediate magnet, meaning that he was a man that was involved in very many platforms, multimedia platforms, known primarily for newspaper publishing, 28 newspapers. He also had radio stations. He had 8 of those. He also had 13 magazines and 2 theatrical production companies. That made him a very wealthy man. He would be what we would call the Mark Zuckerberg of his time, Mr. Facebook of his time, if you will. And he decided to take the wealth that he accumulated throughout his life and go ahead and build up here, as I said, his childhood dream come true. Now, behind me here, this is not the castle. This is one of 3 cottages, Casa del Monte, the house of the mountain. Now, we don't see mountains here in this particular house because they're behind the house. This is where Mr. Hearst and his wife, Millicent, would stay in the summer of 1921. And there are 2 other cottages. We are going to be looking at those 2 other cottages in our future installments here of Castle to Coast Parks PE. Now, Mr. Hearst would take about 28 years to build the castle, which essentially is in the middle of the property here, and just over here off to my left. And we actually were exercising in front of the castle last week, as you might recall. Well, we're going to go ahead and focus on some of the art features here at Casa del Monte. From 1919 to 1947, William Randolph Hearst would go ahead and build beautiful structures around here with his female architect, Miss Julia Morgan, the first female architect licensed in the state of California. You're looking at the grand facade of Casa del Monte. You'll notice the gold, that gold leaf that you see there on the windows as well as the open doors there. That is anywhere from 22 to 24 karat gold. It's about a 2,500 square foot house. And now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, you might want to go ahead and think about this as we exercise. If you have a water bottle, a hydration station, as I like to call it, you might want to have that nearby. And we're also going to be getting down on the ground today with some of our exercises. So you want to go ahead and maybe lay down a mat, or if you have access to a little piece of carpet or rug, you can also lay down on that as well. And if you feel at all a little overexerted, you feel your heart rate's too high, your respiration rate is too high, again, safety, #1 priority, please take a break from the exercise. Because again, we're going to do anywhere from 5 to 20 repeats of each exercise, like 10 exercises total. All right, we have to start with a good warm-up. And so we're going to go ahead and imitate some of the coastal animals from down on the coast. The sea lion seals that we happen to see there. We're gonna do some jumping jacks, but like the seal lion, instead of doing a jumping jack where we come up like this, we'll do a jumping jack where we're clapping in, all right? Now I wanna show some modifications. So I'll show what the exercise looks like. Some of us are not always in the same level of conditioning as others. So the actual exercise looks like this. We come out and then we come in. We come out with the arms, out with the legs, and then in. And again, we're gonna do about 20 of these or so. Now, some of us cannot necessarily do these because we might have a less conditioning. So we modify by just simply doing the arms, like you're hugging the world and hugging yourself, hugging the world, hugging yourself, hugging the world, hugging yourself. What do you want to bring the legs into it? Well, you can put one leg out and then the other leg out, one leg out and in and out and in. Let's try 5 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, and hello, heart rate. All right, if you need to, grab a little water. It's warm out here on the terrace. I'm gonna grab a little water myself. Okay, not done with the warm up yet. Gotta get that heart rate up, but let's get some blood moving to those muscles. I'm gonna show you my profile here now in front of Casa del Monte. Shoulders up and back, okay? I'm going to introduce you to something known as an exponential, T to the 4th power. I want you to think about T to the 4th power throughout your exercises today. A tight tush and a tight tummy. T, 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 T to the 4th power, okay? You always also want to make sure that you've got good posture, so shoulders up and back. A tight thoracic, T, T, your thoracic back here. We're going to do what are called Frankenstein walks or monster walks. It's a crossover. So I take one leg, I put it in the air, and I touch with my opposite hand. Now this is a balance exercise. It's a stretch exercise too. It looks like you're walking like a monster. You can stay in place if you want to do this exercise. For those of us that have a little bit of a conditioning issue, just simply walk. Just simply walk, put your arms out. Walk, walk, walk. Or if you want to, you can just kick. You can kick without, again, reaching over with that opposite hand. You can see this is a balance exercise, well, the stretch exercise. We'll do one more walk across Casa del Monte's terrace with the full exercise and display. And there you go. Grab some water if you need to. Now the camera's going to follow me down here to the front part of the terrace for our next exercise. We're going to talk a little bit about Mr. Hurst's art collection. Mr. Hurst, born in 1863, would develop a lifelong love of art collection by 10 years of age in 1873. He went to Europe with his mother, Phoebe Elizabeth Apperson Hurst. He went on 2 grand world tours, once for a year and a half, another time for 9 months. And at the age of 10, he spent a year and a half cavorting through the travails of Europe. He learned to enjoy ancient Roman art. And what we see behind me here is a replica of some art that Mr. Hurst probably saw as a child. It's called Venus Crouching, as you see. It is not the original, and Mr. Hurst, if he couldn't have the original up here on his property, he would go ahead and have sculptors or artisans go ahead and create the copy of the original. This is about a 19th, 20th century Carrara marble, Italian statue, Venus crouching. Now you'll notice that she's crouching down on one leg, just like this. But I want us to do what are called squats, okay? We gotta be real careful when we do squats because as I show you my profile, we wanna make sure that our knees don't go over our toes, all right? I want you to think about a squat as sitting back. And again, T, 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 T to the 4th power. Tight tummy, tight tush, shoulders up and back. Now I want you to pretend that you're gonna go ahead and sit into a chair. So rather than coming like so, which is what a lot of people do, we want to go ahead and hinge at the hip like the bird dipper we did last week, and then sit right on down, okay? And then back up. Now, if you want to think about your posture, keep that back nice and straight, almost like you've got a 45-degree diagonal there. Because a lot of us, when we squat, we tend to round our shoulders, we tend to do this. So shoulders up and back with each one. Now, if this is too much for you, then I'll just go ahead and have you do what's called an isometric squat. We just simply squat in place. Again, shoulders up and back, tight tush, tight tummy, and we just simply sit into ourselves like that. Again, make sure those knees are not going beyond your toes. And you just hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds, okay? Now, for those of you that want a little bit more challenge, we can go ahead and involve our shoulders, put our hands behind our head, and squat accordingly. Now notice I don't have my profile to you because I want to show you that I'm sitting down, and as I'm squatting down, you want to make sure your knees are aligned with your hips and aligned with the ankles. A lot of us when we squat, we tend to come in like so, all right? You want a little bit more, put a rotation into it. So you take that right elbow to the left knee and that left elbow to the right knee. And I forgot to tell you, make sure that you breathe on the most exertional portion of the exercise. So exhaling down, inhaling up. You want a little bit more? How about a jump squat? That looks just like this. When we come down with our arms at our sides, jump up, just like so, jumping up. Now, not all of us can do these. So we'll go back to the regular squat, showing my profile. Let's do 5 more of those. Yeah, and up. You want to reach for the sky. Otherwise, keep your hands at your side. Tight tush, tight tummy. One more time. There it is. All right, everybody. Venus crouching squats. We're going to come up to the esplanade now. The esplanade happens to be about a 1/4 mile length circular sidewalk. And as we come up to the esplanade, you're going to go ahead and see some tiles embedded in this esplanade sidewalk. And the tile that the camera is showing to you here is a tile of a dragon. Julia Morgan, the architect, not only was a grand architect, she also was an interior designer and would also design many of the tiles. This is one of them, a mythological dragon. Now, dragons are like reptiles and they're like lizards, which brings us to our next exercise, more of a stretching exercise. This is where you might want to have your mat, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and come on down using my squat, just like we did with Venus crouching. And I'm going to turn over so I'm on the long end of my mat, just like so. Make sure I don't trip. Coming on down nice and easy. And I'm in a little bit of a lunge position like this, okay? Now, not all of us can do this, so the modification would just be simply to stand in scissor style, just like so, all right? We're gonna alternate between legs. So right now, my right leg's behind me, my left leg's in front, and we're just gonna alternate. That's your modification. Now, if you want to come down for the true exercise, you're gonna come all the way down. Notice that my right knee is touching the mat, and then I'm gonna come down with both hands, framing my foot, my left foot. I'm gonna come up with my right foot completely out there on the toes with my knee straight. And here's where the challenge begins. You're gonna go ahead, use your hand on the inside of that foot, and then bring your arm up like a T. You're gonna feel a stretch in that left hip, just like so. Come on back down, hold your balance, and do the same thing on the other side. And you'll notice a little bit of destabilizing, but that's okay. It's working your balance. We'll do one more on this side. Good. And the other side, and down. Okay, take it real easy, pop yourself up, nice and easy, switch those legs. And again, those of us that can't get all the way down, just simply do your nice little scissors positioning. Now you can also, if you want to, those of you with a modified position, use your arms into that T position. That'll work your balance too. So we'll come on down as we did on the left leg. I've got my left leg in the back now, right leg in the front. Straighten out that left leg and I come on up, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Bring it down, getting a good stretch. Good, back down and up. And one more time. And back up, good. Bring it on up. Hopefully your heart rates have come down after doing all of those squats. We're now gonna go ahead and transfer ourselves over to another young man on the esplanade. And his name is Mercury. Thank you for allowing me to get some water here. Now, Mercury, another ancient Roman antiquity. Venus, of course, we were looking at a little bit ago. Mercury was known as the fleet-footed messenger of the gods. You might notice that he's got wings on his feet. And those wings allowed him to be rather rapid with his messenger delivery system. And that's going to be the basis of our next exercise. We're going to get real cardio here, okay? We're going to be basically marching in place. You might remember the posterior zebra kickers we did last week where we were kicking our posterior, our tush. We're not going to do that so much. We're going to just simply stay in place and move our feet nice and fast, foot fires. But for those of us that need a modification, just simply march in place, okay? We want to do about 10 to 20 on each leg. If you want to bring your arms into it, get that heart rate up a little bit, you can do that too. But the exercise foot fires, it actually looks more like this. Like your feet are on fire, you're standing on hot coals. So you want to make more of a progression, wave your arms back and forth, pendulum swing style. Let's give this about 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and done. All right, heart rate's up.
Muting it now.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna come on over back to our mat. In fact, I'm not gonna use my mat, I'm just gonna be by it. And I wanna show you the wrestlers. Another Carrara marble statue that Mr. Hurst had made for the place, just like he did with Mercury and Venus. Now, you'll notice that the gentleman below, he's got extreme knee flexion, his knee is bent, and you'll see the other gentleman on top, he's got a little bit of knee flexion too. We're gonna do what are called little crouching hip openers and to try to mimic that as much as possible. Now, as we come down, you're simply trying to exhale as we come down, inhale as you come up. Now, for some of us, this might be a little difficult, so bring your feet in a little bit closer to each other and you're simply swaying back and forth. If you really want more of a progression than this, more of a modification for those of you that have better conditioning, come on down like we did with the squat with Venus, bring your hands to the ground and now bring one leg all the way out. And what we're doing is we're stretching the inside of that hip, okay? And then we come side to side. We like to call these Cossack squats. The Cossacks were a tribe out of near Russia, and they would dance doing this, just like this. We'll do this about 3 or 4 more times each leg. Get a nice little stretch, nice little stretch. Good. 2 more times. You will feel these in your hips if you decide to do it in this particular fashion. All right, bring it on nice and easy up. All right, and we're heading back over to Mercury. And then we're going to be going into a cool down. Back to Mercury. Why Mercury? Those winged feet. We're going to do some shuttles. Now I'm going to run from Mercury here and then to the wrestlers. So if you don't want to run, you can walk. So the modification for the shuttles is you just simply walk back and forth. This will get your heart rate up too. Nice and easy. And back and forth. Now you want more of a shuttle? Then use your running capabilities. Back and forth and back and forth. Good. Back and forth. Get that heart rate. We'll go back and forth one more time. Do that fleet-footed messenger like Mercury. And here we go. All right. Shoulders up and back. And we're going to go ahead. Come on down, straddling our mat. Come on down to a squat. And we're going to do what are called bridges. A butterfly bridge. Now, Mr. Hurst has 127 acres of gardens here. And those gardens happen to be pollinated by the butterflies that fly in and out of here season round, all year long. And that's the basis of our next exercise. One of our cool down exercises. We're gonna go ahead and come on down, nice and easy. I'm squatting down, using both hands. Come on down and ease on down on your back like so. Your soles of your feet will be together like so. And you just simply flap your wings like a butterfly, just like so. That's a little stretch. Those of you that want a little bit more, you'll push those knees towards the ground. Keep that tummy nice and tight. As I said, the tush nice and tight to you, that 4th power. Or if you want to, you can do a little bridge, meaning put your hands on the ground, the palms, and then bring it up into a little bridge pose. We'll do 5 of these, the bridge pose, butterfly style. 2 more. 1 more after this. Good. We're going to go ahead, roll on over, nice and easy. And we're going to bring ourselves up. Again, nice and carefully, easy. Grab some water if you want. And we're going to do 1 more exercise, and it's called our hip opener stretch, which this young lady happens to be demonstrating right there. Now, some of you might want to pull a chair to do this particular exercise. She's also sitting on a chair. But if you want a progression, I'll show that to you later. We come on down nice and easy in the chair. We simply cross our leg as part of our cool down here. Flex your foot, push the knee down, and you'll feel a nice stretch of those hips. This has been a very hip-oriented workout today, to say the least. Bring it down, easy. We'll stretch one more time, nice and easy. And for those of you that want a little modification, if you're more conditioned, stand up and try to do this, just like so. Let go of the chair. You can do both sides. All right, everybody. Junior Rangers, we're now going to virtually take you down to Morro Bay State Park with Mariana. Thanks for joining us up here at Hurst Castle.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mariana. Thank you, Laura, up at Hearst Castle. I just want to share, I had some technology issues earlier today. So, Laura, up at Hearst Castle, just let me know if the service just goes badly. I don't know what to say. I'm in a public area and sometimes technology doesn't always work, but that was awesome. We're down here at Morro Bay State Park. I am in a public location, like I said earlier, and I am wearing a mask. And there is no one around me, so quick smile. There we go. To get ready with some of our animal exercises down at the coast. You're looking at, I just kind of want to orientate you to where I'm actually located, but I am looking at Morro Bay through Windy Cove, which is on the backside of Morro Bay State Park, and you can see the sand spit, which are the dunes right here. The sand spit is a barrier that helps protect this beautiful calm water from the rough Pacific Ocean waves. So that is where I am currently at. And you can even see Morro Rock, which is an important landmark for a lot of people that use the ocean. It's also a sacred place for some of the native Californian populations that we have here. It's very foggy and overcast, a little bit chilly. I'm a little bit chilly. Okay, so I am going to step back. You can see me. I'm going to go a little bit further back. Okay, let's get started with some of our animal exercises that we have on the coast. All right, so to start off, we're going to pretend to be a dragonfly. We're going to stand up and spread our arms, and then just kind of circle, kind of pretend that we're flying like a dragonfly. Dragonflies are really important. They help eat mosquitoes and other insects. A lot of gardeners and outdoor enthusiasts love dragonflies because they actually help limit the amount of pesticides and insecticides that we would use for some of the food sources that we would eat, because dragonflies like to eat those. So we don't need to use as many chemicals. Instead, we can have a natural predator. All right. Just a few more seconds. Nice. And then we're going to take some time to just kind of shake your arms and then stand up straight, continue, but we're going to raise one arm at a time. I'm using my left arm, and I am going to pretend to be kelp flowing in the water. And basically, I'm just going to lean towards one side, the opposite side of where my hand is raised. So my left hand is raised, and I'm leaning to the right. Just kind of stretch, maybe flow like I would if I was a kelp in the water. Guess I'm both animal and plant exercises. All right, I'm gonna switch flow to the other side. Okay, maybe one more time, flow. And a kelp is a really important ecosystem that we have here in Morro Bay State Park, it provides homes to many other types of plant and animal life and is also a food source. Okay, kind of shake it out again. Now we're gonna transition into a bee movement. There are a lot of bees. When I was doing my research, we have about 40 native bees in the San Luis Obispo Coast District. And we are just going to move our shoulders back. We're gonna pretend that we have wings. We're just gonna do a shoulder rotation, kind of pretend we're flapping like bees. And bees are pollinators. They help bring pollen from one plant to another plant that helps with the reproduction system of a lot of wildflowers and food that we eat. Gonna rotate to the opposite location, opposite way. So bees play a really important role in life here in Morro Bay State Park. And then we're gonna put our arms to our shoulders and we're gonna pretend that we're collecting pollen and we're just gonna hold it like this and also rotate, right? Carrying pollen from one flower to the next. Few more seconds or rotations. And then shake that pollen off. And then we're gonna do two activities right now that are pretty silly and funny looking, but I hope that you'll join me. We're gonna start off doing a crab walk. I did a crab walk last week, but this one's gonna be a little bit different, just to get our heart pumping and just kind of stretch everything out. But basically, I am going to be in this position. So to get there, you can just start off with laying on your back and then moving your feet up so your legs are bent, and then popping yourself up with your arms, and then using your arms and legs to bump up your body. And then we're just kind of walk like crabs. And we have a lot of crabs here in Morro Bay in the water. They're an excellent food source for a lot of our shorebirds and seabirds. Even our sea otters love to munch on crabs. They are great for the ecosystem because they like to help break down dead animal and plant material. Helps keep the water clean and just kind of helps maintain the overall health of the beautiful bay. Gonna do this walk a little bit more time, then I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna switch over and do the reverse, and I'm gonna call it a bear walk. And so just to kind of get ourselves up, going, gonna be down on my knees, have my hands up, then I'm gonna lift my knees up. So I'm kind of in this position, and then I'm gonna walk. We do have bears in the San Luis Obispo Coast District. I'm gonna go forward and backwards. So that way you can see I'm not walking away. We have black bears in the San Luis Obispo Coast District. There's very few, and it's a rare sighting. You'd be pretty lucky to see one, that's for sure. And black bears are omnivores, so they like to eat both plant and animal material. And they're found in the mountains that surround this area. So they're not right at the beach or where I'm located, but sometimes they're out in the mountains doing a bear walk through the different habitats that we have. Okay, let's kind of rest. I'm gonna take a water break right now. For me, I'm gonna kind of wipe the sand off my my hands. I'm on the beach, so it's a little bit sandy. Okay. And then for this one, I'm going to call this the harbor seal banana pose. A harbor seal is a true seal, so they're not exactly like sea lions, but they're part of the same pinniped family. So for the harbor seal banana pose, we're just gonna lay flat on our stomachs on the ground. I'm gonna put my hands straight out in front of me, and then I'm gonna lift my chest and my legs at the same time. Kind of forms a banana shape. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go up for 3 seconds and then down for 3 seconds. So up, 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna do that a few more times. And while we're doing this, I kind of talk about harbor seals. So we can see harbor seals from Morro Bay, in Morro Bay. And like I said, they are true seals. So they lack that extra earpiece, ear tissue that you might see on a sea lion. Instead, they just have a hole for their ears. So that's one way you can tell that it's a true seal. And a harbor seal is a marine mammal. What does that mean? Marine, well, let's break it down. Marine means ocean, and mammal is a warm-blooded animal. If you took your finger and you pointed it at yourself, you are a mammal. But we're not marine mammals like the harbor seal. We don't rely on the ocean for our food like marine mammals do. We also don't spend all of our life out at sea. We're going to do this 2 more times. Okay. Up, 1, 2, 3. Down, 1, 2, 3. Up, 1, 2, 3. Down, 1, 2, 3. Awesome job. Then I'm going to continue to sit down, but just normally sit down, and we're going to open and close like a mussel. We have a lot of mussels around here. We have different types of mussels, and they provide excellent food source for our birds and our sea otters, again, kind of like the crabs. So for this, we're just going to close and open once for a mussel, but keep your back straight, your feet and your legs are straight in front of you. Your toes are pointing towards the sky. I am going to reach for my toes, pretending to be a closed mussel. So reaching to my toes, getting that stretch. I'm a closed mussel. Mussels are pretty amazing organisms. They are sessile organisms. That means that they stay in the same spot for all of their life, or they just move very small amounts. And that is pretty remarkable because they have to learn how to adapt to a changing environment. They can't just move like we can, right? If there's something that we think is threatening or that we feel unsafe, we are able to walk away or run away. But mussels can't do that. They are stuck in their location, so they are able to adapt and learn how to survive in those changes. That's pretty awesome. I think that's a really cool feature about mussels. They are also filter feeders, so they don't have to go far to go get food. They just open up like we are, basically just sitting back in a position with our back straight and relaxing. They open up their shell and they're able to eat all of the microscopic food in the water. Isn't that awesome? I think that that's really cool. Okay. And we are also going to do a similar butterfly stretch that Laura did up in the castle. And we're just going to, instead of laying back down, we're just going to keep our back straight. I think it's a great stretch in your inner legs. Put your toes together, your knees are bent, and I like to hold my toes. Just as a really good stretch, and I can breathe, keep my back straight and shoulders out. kind of a nice relaxing pose to be on. And we have a lot of butterflies at Morro Bay State Park. We even have monarchs. So cool. Those are the bright orange butterflies that you might see in your neighborhood or even in your backyard. Cool fact is that the monarch butterfly is actually poisonous. Whoa, that is pretty strange. Something so beautiful can actually be deadly. And it gets its poison from its food source, so from its diet. Monarchs love to eat milkweed, and milkweed itself is toxic. So monarchs are adapted, so they have found a way to eat milkweed and then use that toxic chemicals for its own advantage. That bright orange color that a lot of people love actually means to predators like, hey, don't eat me because I am poisonous. Isn't that a unique feature of monarch butterflies? They have that bright color, and that's telling other animals, stay away from me, don't eat me, because I'm bad for you. I think that's pretty cool. All right, and the last pose is a turtle pose, also known as child pose in yoga if you participate in yoga. And basically, we're gonna put our toes, we're gonna be on our knees to start off, and let's just put our toes together and then sit on our feet and kind of create a shell by taking our arms and just going down and resting our forehead onto the ground. Just relaxing and breathing. I think this reminds me of a turtle, like my back is shaped as a turtle shell. We have southwestern pond turtles, and turtles are exotherms. That may be a new word for many of you, but basically that means that turtles get their heat from an outside source, so from their environment. As humans, we are endotherms. That means we produce our own heat by eating. We are able to use our energy source to maintain a constant body temperature. But turtles don't do that. They have to keep up with their heat, or they have to find their heat from an environmental source. So that could be the sun, it could be a hot rock. So you would find these turtles in bodies of water that also have exposure to the sun or warm areas. So areas with lots of rock or direct sunlight. Okay, can go up. Put my hat back on. It's a little bit sandy. All right. Well, that kind of concludes some of the exercises that we do down here in the coast. I'll get a little bit closer to you before I completely sign off. Again, thank you for tuning in to today's Junior Ranger program. Hopefully you got to see some of the ones we did earlier this week. I know Monica talked about the northern elephant seals, and she talked about, oops, my headpiece just went undone, talked about whales, and you learned about a lot about Hurst Castle with the interpreters up there. That's pretty fascinating. This is an awesome opportunity for us to bring our natural and cultural resources to your homes. You don't even have to be physically here. We are giving you the option to see it through your computer. So it's an awesome resource, an educational resource for you. And we do this every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. live on YouTube. Hope to see you next week for more Junior Ranger programs. I hope that everyone has a lovely rest of your day and that you continue to wear your mask in public. I'm wearing my mask. There's actually some people behind me. And practice social and physical distancing to not only protect yourself, but to protect your family, friends, and just everyone. We all want to flatten the curve of COVID-19. All right. just going to give you a scan of where I'm at, and then we this is the type of weather I like to walk on the beach. Can wear my sweatshirt, sweats, and just go on a nice stroll. Okay, my internet says that it's unstable. Again, have a lovely rest of your day, and hopefully see you next week.